Hi, I'm Owen. I'm from indiehomebeer. We're a beer specialty shop based in North London. We focus on selling the best beers from independent breweries from across the UK, Europe and beyond. I'm here today to tell you about our monthly subscription service that we call indiehomebeer. So what we have here, we have the 12 beers that we're going to put into our April box, which will go out tomorrow to subscribers. So to begin with, I'll tell you about a menu that we put into each one. This menu includes interesting tasting notes about each beer, the beer style, the ABV. Useful if you're trying to decide maybe the order that you want to drink your beers today, tomorrow, or late into the evening. So, first beer here, this is Alley Cat. This is a 4.5% pale ale from Gypsy Hill Brewery. Don't know if you know Gypsy Hill with their special, so this is a one-off. They always put somebody associated with the brewery on the can. This guy here, this is Andre. He's the sales rep for North London, so we know Andre well. Really nice person. Don't actually know if the beer style has anything to do with him, but this one's got lots of stone fruits in it, so it's very juicy and very fruity. Next up, another brewery, some guys here that we know well as well. This is Aura Brewing. These are Italians based in London. There's always an Italian twist to the design and to the feel of the beer. This is Hazy Heart. This is a 4.5% pale ale here. It's got Citra and Mosaic in it, so everybody's favourite craft beer hops. Really juicy, lots of, it's a New England style IPA as well, so very hazy. Next up, from Norwegian brewery Lervig, we have Perle for Svin. This one's a little bit stronger, 6.3%. Basically, bigger, punchier versions of these. If you want a bit more juice, this is where you go. So what is this one? All Day Long. This is from Left-Handed Giant. Probably certainly my favourite brew from Bristol. One of my favourite breweries in the country at the moment. We need to get more of their stuff. Obviously, their artwork is always very abstract, I guess is the word for it. I'm better at beer than I am about art, but that's what I'll call it. It's Columbus, Cryo Mosaic and Galaxy hops in here. And it's got a really light malt grain to it. So it's really supposed to show the hop flavours. So yeah, good beer. Next up from Wales's, the top IPA brew from Wales. Wales's might not have been the correct way to have said that. This is Lochopolly. This is Spur. This is a very fruity, very juicy, but quite a boozy. There's a nice bit of booze kick at the end. And if I remember correctly, 7.2, and yeah, it kind of feels like 7.2. It's nice sometimes to get a beer that's not trying to hide its alcohol content. You have this and you feel warm inside. Next, these guys are called Seven Sisters Brewery. Seven Sisters is an area close by to the shop. There's no sisters involved in this. There's just three guys. They're not even brothers. But they're very local to us. We like them. We like all of the beers they brought out so far. This is their interpretation of a saison with thyme and with honey in it. So it's got quite typical saison, very well carbonated, strong mouthfeel, nice herby aroma to it, and a bit sweet, but not too sweet. The honey doesn't overpower at all. And next up from Flensburger, we have Frühlingsbock. Frühling, meaning spring. This is a beer they bring out once a year, spring or Lent, as it's also known as. This is modelled on a Maibock. Bock being generally a stronger, high-strength lager, Maibock being the paler, hoppier version of that. So you've got Doppelbock, which is a dark double strength. This is a slightly lighter and hoppier version, 6.9%, and it fills it. And then from everyone's favourite brewery or Mancunian brewery, we have Cloudwater. This is a collaboration with Against the Grain from Kentucky. Against the Grain, or sorry, certainly when I think about Kentucky, I think of barbecues, big meat joints. These guys are very good at their smoked beers. And what they've done here, they've worked together to create a beer with an elongated name called www.DDD, basically wood, funny enough. Well, it's kind of similar to, say, a German Rauch beer that you get from someone like Schenkeler from Bamberg. This, though, has been smoked with bourbon barrel wood rather than beechwood, and it's a little bit pokier at 7.2%. A little bit sweeter as well, so go great with a meat dish. And then up next, from East London Brewery Redchurch, been around since about 2014, I think. This is part of their Urban Farmhouse series. Basically, they make farmhouse-style ales in Bethnal Green in East London. This is a cherry sour. They're great at doing cherry sours. They've been doing them for a couple of years. This one's been barrel fermented as well, so it's sat in some barrels for a while. So it's got a big, juicy, sour cherry flavour and aroma to it, with a nice, sharp, dry finish. And then next up, from Scotland. From somewhere close to the Highlands. And I know that because I've been to this brewery before. Lochfine Oyster is also a restaurant next to it. This is Fine Ales and their Origins series. It's a fairly new series to the brewery. Wasn't around when I went there, but we tried it in Manchester a couple of months ago. This is basically a Scottish wheat ale, which has then been aged in red wine barrels with a load of black currants. So, you know, it's nature at its best in a glass here. Very sour, very fruity, really good example of that beer. Then next up, from South London brewery Partisan. We featured Partisan in the box last month, and we've got some new Partisan beers in now. Partisan worked with the Colonel early on in his career, so that kind of, you just know for a fact that porters and stouts are going to be good. This one here, chocolate, cherry, very strong flavours and aromas, 6.2%, but it feels a bit more like an export one. Very nice beer. And then finally, we have a beer which, confession to make, not my favourite beer, but I don't like coconut, so I don't really know why I even tried this beer. If you like coconut or even just think you like coconut, you've got to try this though. This is from Buxton, 8.5%, collaboration with Jay Wakefield from Miami. Coconut infused, felt more like there was a lot of coconut, not just a slight infusion. It's liquid bounty. So exactly what it says on the tin. So just be prepared. So yeah, these are the 12 beers. The boxes are going out this week. Obviously, if you are looking at this and you think you'd like this, then feel free to get in touch and we'll try and create a box for you. We might have to substitute 1 or 2 beers, but that won't be a problem. Otherwise, you can go online. You can sign up for a subscription, either for yourself or for somebody else. Go onto our web store, www.indiebeer.co.uk. Details will come up at the end. We have all of the 300 beers that we have here and out in the shop in front of me. And yeah, please obviously feel free to get in touch if you have any questions. Thank you.